California State University Long Beach is mourning the death of one of its students who was killed in the Paris terror attacks. President Obama spoke at a summit in Turkey about the strategies the U.S. would use to battle ISIS. The mayor of San Fernando is opposing the possible route the bullet train might take through the city.
This is Valley View News.
Welcome to Valley View News. I'm Joanna Guzman.
And I'm Maria Cartaya. A Cal State Long Beach student has been remembered at a memorial event that drew mourners from around the area. Noemi Gonzalez was among the 129 people killed in the Paris terrorist attacks. She was studying design abroad and died as terrorists opened fire at a bistro in the downtown Paris.
The university held a vigil to remember Gonzalez. Valley View News reporter Jacqueline Serrano was there and joins us from the newsroom.
Thank you, Joanna. Hundreds of people came out to remember Noemi Gonzalez at Cal State Long Beach. They were brought together to mourn the death of Gonzalez and the other victims of the Paris attacks. Until we meet again, my friend, sang the choir to the crowd that came to show their support to the family of Noemi Gonzalez, the star design student who died during the attacks in Paris.
We mourn with our fellow Americans and our French brothers and sisters. Taking the life of an innocent, as the Vice President mentioned, and for Noemi, an innocent of such great promise, is an assault on our hearts, to be sure, but also on our world.
Gonzalez had many friends and professors who described her as a gifted student, driven and always willing to give a helping hand. They said she viewed the world with trust, openness, and imagination. Those who knew her say she was following her dreams of studying in Paris and had recently won second place in a design competition. I was able to talk to one of Noemi's friends.
Well, I found out in the craziest way. I'm actually, people get so busy with school and work and you get so zoned out. I didn't take much of the attacks in Paris. I was actually interviewing a girl and she told me, I mentioned that I go to Cal State Long Beach. She was like, oh, they already found out that one girl from Cal State Long Beach passed away. I didn't make much of it. Cal State Long Beach is such a huge school. So many students here. Never did it cross my mind that it could have been someone I knew, someone I interacted with, someone that I knew could be a victim of such a horrible attack. When I found out, it was unbelievable, I was scrolling through my Instagram feed and I see pictures of Noemi and I'm just like, wait, no, Noemi, what? The entire day I was in shock. She had an impact in my life, and people shouldn't pass away the way that she did. And it's important for us to pay our respect, not only for the girl from Cal State Long Beach, but as a human being. She was smart, she was outgoing. As you could see, she was willed. She wanted to live life. She traveled abroad. A lot of things that people would be in fear of doing, she went out there. And she knew everything about how everything should be done. Whenever I wanted some help, where should I put this? She was the one that took care of it. Here, I'll do it. Let me do it. I know how to do it. That kind of person.
The family said it wants to thank everyone for their love and support during this difficult time. As for Cal State Long Beach, the campus will provide counseling to the 80 French students currently studying at the university and will stay in contact with their students who are still in Paris. That's all we have for now. Back to you in the studio.
Thank you, Jacqueline. Our prayers go to those in Paris and Gonzalez's family. More on what's happening on Paris. French police say one of the suspects involved in the Paris attacks is a 26-year-old French citizen. Authorities say Salam Abdeslam was born in Belgium and was believed to be one of the run following the attacks. A French newspaper reported that the suspect rented a car that was found near the concert hall where over 80 people were massacred. Authorities have also identified the two suicide bombers who set off the explosions at the National Stadium in France. One of them was a 20-year-old man with French citizenship.
France's military launched massive airstrikes against Islamic State in Syria. The strikes were on retaliation after terror attacks in Paris killed at least 129 people. The French Defense Ministry says the strikes targeted a command post, a training camp, and a weapons depot. They say 20 bombs were dropped in Syria. 10 fighter jets in the operation were from the United Arab Emirates and Jordan in coordination with U.S. forces. A U.S.-led coalition that includes France has been directing airstrikes against the Islamic State in Iraq and Syria since last year.
A new video put out by Islamic State warns that countries taking part in airstrikes against Syria could be attacked. The message was delivered by a man. In the video, the Islamic State also threatened to attack Washington.
We say to the countries that participate in the Crusader campaign, I swear to God, a similar day that France went through, you will go through. I swear to God, as we struck France and its stronghold, Paris, we will strike America and its stronghold, Washington, with God's will.
They also warned Europe that more attacks were coming. It was not immediately possible to verify the video is authentic.
After the Paris attacks, President Obama faced criticism at the G20 summit in Turkey. The president has been blamed for not doing enough to stop ISIS. However, he said he still believes that it would be a mistake for the U.S. to fight ISIS on the ground.
We have the finest military in the world, and we have the finest military minds in the world. And I've been meeting with them intensively for years now, discussing these various options. And it is not just my view, but the view of my closest military and civilian advisors that that would be a mistake.
Obama announced that the U.S. would start sharing intelligence with France to try to prevent terror attacks.
16 governors say they will not accept Syrian refugees in their states. Some of the states are Alabama, Arkansas, Illinois, Indiana, Louisiana, Michigan, Mississippi, Massachusetts, and Texas. After the recent terrorist attacks in Paris, governors who are mostly Republicans say their top concern is the safety of state residents. The governors say they worry that refugees could include people with terrorist ties. Despite these reactions, President Obama is continuing with plans to accept refugees from Syria.
The recent Democratic primary debate at Drake University had to alter its format in the wake of the Paris terrorist attacks. Domestic issues were intended to be the focus, but foreign policy and homeland security dominated the debate. Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders talked about gun control.
Coming from a state that has virtually no gun control, I believe that I am in a position to reach out to the 60 or 70% of the American people who agree with us on those issues.
The next scheduled debate is on December 19th in Manchester, New Hampshire. It's Diabetes Awareness Month and hundreds of people receive free medical exams. Valley View News reporter Sarah Vaughn takes us to the event hosted by the American Diabetes Association.
This person is getting his blood pressure checked. And just like him, many Angelinos visited the historic General Hospital for free health screening. Feria de Salud is an event specially designed for the Hispanic and Latino community because they're at a higher risk of getting diabetes. Doctors, dentists, and many volunteers provided free medical services such as foot, dental, and blood pressure exams. There's also a free cooking class to educate people like Rosa Soto on the different types of food and ingredients they should use in the kitchen.
I walked into the cooking class and I learned about lower calorie foods that you can cook with family.
The CDC says nearly 26 million people are diabetic. Health officials say 1 in every 10 Los Angeles residents has diabetes. Pharmacist Chaim Malgood advises everyone to get their glucose screen to find out if they have high blood sugar.
Diabetes can affect their vision, they can affect their kidney, their heart, they can lose their limbs to it. It's really a very serious disease, so it's not only that's affecting the blood sugar go higher, but it's also all their organs can get messed up.
So talk about family health.
Lurleen Gaines from East Los Angeles College says prevention is the name of the game.
Tell families to walk as families, and they're doing something for themselves and the family, so then the family learns. They learn how to prepare meals. We talk about portion control. Diabetics can eat almost anything, but it's the amount of what they eat. So we talk about the palm of the hand. That's a portion. That's portion control.
The American Diabetes Association says half of a dinner plate should consist of non-starchy vegetables, such as beans and tomatoes. This will help manage diabetes and weight loss. In Los Angeles, I'm Sarah Vaughn, Valley View News.
The second annual Lung Cancer Walk at Exposition Park took place to fundraise for lung cancer research. Valley View News reporter Maria Leal takes us there.
This walk is a national initiative that was launched in 2014 to educate people that anyone can get lung cancer. Tara Redrick attended this event in support of her father, who died in 2011 from lung cancer.
I think that when you bring people down into some of these neighborhoods, it's good to see community come together. And it's also, I think, anytime you have a problem in your life, raising money or doing some kind of charity work is kind of a refocus issue.
These are people who have all lost someone to lung cancer. This event helps educate and fund research for lung disease. Sharisa Vargar joined her friend and says she enjoys that she can be active and raise money for cancer research.
We did both. We walked at the beginning and then ran to end it.
These supporters focus on the need for clean air. They point out that about 480,000 Americans die each year from diseases related to cigarette smoke. This was a free event for everyone, and nearly $81,000 were raised.
The American Lung Association says nearly 33 million Americans are living with lung disease. The money fundraised will be used for research and programs to increase lung health. In Los Angeles, Maria Leal, Valley View News.
People who live in San Fernando are worried that the proposed bullet train will cause major problems in their city. The California High-Speed Rail is a system that is currently under construction. The High-Speed Rail Authority is responsible for planning, designing, building, and operating it. Valley View News reporter Noemi Barajas tells us more.
The California High-Speed Rail Authority has studied different possible routes. The SR-14 corridor is one of the proposed routes that would connect Palmdale and Burbank. It would pass through the city of San Fernando, but the mayor opposes the idea of having the train pass through the city.
In the city of San Fernando, it could very likely take out either part of Truman Street or take out part of First Street, or even possibly both streets. If it took out both streets, it would result in a net loss to the city of about $1.3 million a year, which is approximately 7% of our annual budget.
He says in addition to that, it would take out the bike path and eliminate or impede access to the Cesar Chavez Memorial.
One of the things that we want to look at as we're going through this process are the things that we can do, as you might appreciate, to protect the community from any impacts from the construction of the high-speed rail project.
The Metrolink rail system already passes through San Fernando, so if the SR-14 corridor is chosen, the new tracks will be built adjacent to it or through an overpass. 3030 Fitness is one of the businesses that might be affected.
The people that are behind the whole bullet train thing, you know, they don't live in these communities. You know, they live on the outskirts of other communities. I'm pretty sure if the train was going to go through their communities, they would strongly oppose it also.
Mayor Fajardo says they have a petition with over 1,000 signatures from people who live there and would not want the rail system to pass through the heart of San Fernando.
What you see behind me is the section of the route that Mayor Joe Fajardo is concerned about, but Michelle Bain says there are 3 other routes still being considered. She says it's an ongoing process that may take up until 2017 for the final decision. In San Fernando, Noemi Barajas, Valley View News.
Another year has come to honor the veterans that have served us. Valley View News reporter Ayo Alelaja went to see how the San Fernando Valley celebrated our heroes.
The San Fernando Valley had its 3rd annual Veterans Day parade. High school students, marching band, and cheerleaders were among the people who marched the streets. Santos Osornia remembers his brother who passed away while serving in the Marines.
Rogelio Osornia, which died in the Marine Corps back in '78, and you know, these people really make a big difference.
The crowd cheers for 2 Grand Marshals that served in World War II. More veterans crossed the intersection waving and saluting to their supporters. People like Ronnie Hernandez show their thanks just by partaking in the event.
What does this parade mean to you? Oh, it's a gratitude thing, appreciation for all them guys that went out and did it. You know, we've got a voluntary army now, so they go because they want to.
An online directory for veterans says this is the only Veterans Day parade in the San Fernando Valley. In Mission Hills, Ayo Adelaja for Valley View News.
Besides having parades in their honor, veterans were also able to play a game of golf with their family. Valley View News reporter Joanna Guzman takes us there.
Many places offered free stuff for veterans on Veterans Day, but PGA Learning Center at El Carrizo Golf Course offered something a little different. special golf lessons were given to those who have served the country. More than just a thank you, these veterans and their families saw it as a day to relax and have some fun. A veteran says it was important to bring his nephew to this event.
You show them just other veterans and people how they appreciate the service that I've had done in my past.
Veterans and their families were taught basic techniques like how to hold a golf club properly and how to position their bodies. This reminded the veterans about the benefits that come with the military. The director of instruction from the PGA Learning Center says this day is important to the center as well.
Both my dad and my grandfather were in the military, and the PGA in general are very supportive of the military. And we, as the learning centers, decided that we wanted to give back to them. And by hosting this free golf clinic, I hope that we were able to do that for them.
In Silmar, Joanna Guzman, Valley View News.
When we come back, find out how some entertainers pay tribute to Paris terror victims.
And we take a look at the Rose Bowl Flea Market.
Hey, did you know that 2.4 million loving cats and dogs in shelters and rescues need our help to find a home? Go to theshelterpetproject.org and search your local shelters and rescues. Go for a cuddle with your next best friend. Adopt.
Let's send it over to Serena Sandoval for the latest in entertainment. Some big names in the music industry paid tribute to the victims of the Paris terrorist attacks. Serena?
Yes, a Saturday Night Live cast member delivered an emotional message to Paris in the opening of the show.
Paris is the city of light. And here in New York City, we know that light will never go out. Our love and support is with everyone there tonight. We stand with you.
Cecily Strong said the same message in French. The words came about 24 hours after Paris was attacked. Responding to tragedy on SNL is not new for the show. After the 9/11 attack, the current New York mayor appeared on the show with members of the New York Fire Department and other first responders. Irish rock band U2 visit the Bataclan Theater in Paris Saturday. The band members laid flowers at the site of the deadly attacks a night earlier that killed more than 80 people. U2 was in Paris to perform concerts over the weekend. The show were postponed after the attacks. U2 said it would perform again at a more appropriate time. Madonna paid tribute to the victims of the Paris terrorist attacks. She almost canceled her concert in Sweden. She changed her mind because she didn't want extremists to win. Madonna asked her audience for a moment of silence, then played her 1989 hit song, Like a Prayer. The Pasadena Rose Bowl is known for its great events. From college football to soccer, it's even been home of some of the 1984 Summer Olympics events. But the Rose Bowl Flea Market has been around for 45 years. Valley View News reporter Helen Mora tells us what we can find at this event.
The Rose Bowl Flea Market is a true legend among bargain shoppers in California.
Every second Sunday of the month, people from across the nation gather at the Rose Bowl, not for a major sporting event, but for food and a variety of shopping experiences.
Over 20,000 people gather each month at the stadium in Pasadena. The Rose Bowl Flea Market is filled with anything and everything a person could dream of. At the Rose Bowl Flea Market, people can find anything, whether it's new, antique, or just old. Terry, who did some shopping with her family, enjoys the bargains found at the flea market.
It's huge. You can never get through everything, but the place that I like the best is all the stuff that is the antiques and things out of people's houses, and just find the little bargains here and there. Now we're kind of going through the stuff that's more new, but my favorite part's the other side.
The flea market sells clothes, jewelry, books, and has a variety of food from different places. Stands were set up in rows and varied in foods like teriyaki bowls to stuffed crepes. Even drinks of different flavors are sold.
They put in a lot of effort to come here and bring items here.
Michael Hockey, first-time hat merchant at the Rose Bowl Flea Market, was impressed by the turnout.
In Northern California, we have things like this, but not as well put together as this, perhaps.
Shopping continues from beginning to end. Doors for the public open as early as 5 a.m. for VIP admission. General admission starts at 9 a.m., and the public can shop until 4:30 p.m. In Pasadena, Helen Mora, Valley View News.
That's it for entertainment. Back to you.
Thank you, Serena. Coming up next, UFC legend Ronda Rousey loses for the first time.
The New England Patriots beat major rival for the first time since 2007 and find out which quarterback broke a record and also got benched.
A single ember that escapes from a wildfire can travel more than a mile. You can't control where that ember will land, only what happens when it does. Get Fire Adapted now at fireadapted.org.
Let's switch it over to Harry Abelson with the latest in sports. Harry, what are some schools in LA doing to help students set their goals?
Well, Joanna, the Students Run LA program tries to help at-risk students get on track. Running tracks, that is. The program trains students to run the LA Marathon. Valley View News reporter Victor Park is a volunteer in the program and recorded the video you're about to see. Valley View's Wahid Loden spoke in Studio B with a co-founder of the running program.
I'm joined today by Eric Spears. He's the co-founder of the Students Run Los Angeles program. Eric, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
So why don't you go ahead and start off by telling us what the SRLA program is and what its purpose is?
The program is a 6-month training program designed to help high school and middle school kids prepare themselves to actually complete the Skechers Performance Los Angeles Marathon, so a 26.2 mile run. So we're based around a running model where by setting short-term goals and building themselves up across 6 months, students can go from literally being non-runners to being able to complete a marathon. And our purpose is really to help kids understand and experience a very empowering and self-empowering experience to be able to know how to run their lives. Because by learning to set short-term goals, heading toward a long-term goal, you kind of get the formula for success.
And how do you train the students that are participating in this program to start running the marathon and help them with their goal-setting agenda?
It's broken down. We actually have 175 different schools and groups, high schools, middle schools, and community groups, and they form in smaller cadres around the marathon leaders, who are usually either teachers or police officers or other community members. And those groups will train weekly toward a benchmark goal. So our first benchmark goal is a 5K. So they'll start with just their basic training 3 to 4 times a week, and then we all gather together as one big group and run a 5K. And then from there, they take their training and extend it to being able to do a 10K, and then continue week in, week out. So it kind of trains in small pods and then comes together as one big group.
And from your experience, what you've seen, how are at-risk students impacted by this program?
Incredibly. One of the big things is that these students very often, especially at-risk students, do not have a really good mentor in their lives. They're very often disconnected from adults, and by the constant training and the hard work that's done within this kind of concept of training toward a goal, they are able to really have a better connection to mentors, and that helps stabilize their world. And from there, they also learn the real success of goal setting by having a long-term goal, which is an impossible goal in the beginning, but then taking it back and completing short-term goals that are leading toward that long-term goal. They learn that formula that you can succeed. And high school graduation is really the same thing. You've got to have credits, 230 credits or 210 credits to graduate. And the only way to get to that is to pass classes and earn those credits. And the way to do that is to do the homework and attend school. And they learn that by each step along the way, it leads to the next one. And that formula is just replicated over and over and over again.
And for those unfamiliar and want to help participate in the program, how can they go about doing that?
Well, our fabulous website, www.srla.org, is a fully functional website that they can come in and they can donate, they can volunteer. Our leaders are actually coming from those schools. Occasionally there is room for someone who really is a runner and wants to participate in that, but by and large we need community support through donation, and because it costs about $300 per runner to provide a 6-month training program, which is really inexpensive per runner. But there are 3,000 of them, so it's a big budget. And we really want to be able to offer this to every kid that we can. And so the more people can click in and just start to get to know us and get out there and cheer us on, it's amazing how much even just getting out on the sidewalk and saying yay can boost our self-esteem and help us make that finish line.
Well, that's all the time we have for Studio B today. Eric, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
It was perhaps the biggest upset in the history of mixed martial arts. UFC legend Ronda Rousey was knocked out by former world boxing champion Holly Holm. Even before the actual fight began, Holm and Rousey could be seen shoving each other and exchanging words during the introduction ceremony. But it was a kick to the head in the second round that ended the fight and handed the undefeated Holm the championship. The shocking result came 59 seconds into the second round after Rousey already had been stunned several times by Holm's punches. More than 56,000 fans packed the arena, the biggest crowd ever for the UFC event. Rousey is recovering in the hospital and is expected to be okay. Meanwhile, Holm says she would be happy to rematch Rousey whenever that might be. Imagine playing probably the worst game of your career, yet still setting the NFL record for most career passing yards. That is exactly what happened to Denver Broncos quarterback Peyton Manning. Manning set the record early in the first quarter with a short pass that pushed him past Brett Favre with almost 72,000 career passing yards. Fans gave Manning a standing ovation, and all was good for the future Hall of Fame quarterback, right? Wrong. Manning finished the game with only 35 passing yards, 0 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, 2 sacks, and a 0 passer rating. He was booed by Broncos fans following almost every drive and was benched for the first time in his career in the third quarter. The Broncos went on to lose to the Kansas City Chiefs 29-13. But there was more trouble. ESPN says Manning has a partially torn ligament in his left foot. It was not immediately clear how much time Manning will miss because of the injury. The New England Patriots remain undefeated and now have 9 wins on the season. The Pats have finally beaten the New York Giants in what was another epic football game between the rivals. Giants quarterback Eli Manning had a big game, including this 87-yard pass to Odell Beckham Jr. There you can see Odom running away from defenders and taking it all the way home. Brady also played one heck of a game as well. He kept the Patriots in the game late with this 76-yard pass to tight end Rob Gronkowski. Here you can see Gronkowski making the catch and getting away from defenders, and now he's going to take it all the way home. But the Patriots sealed the victory with this last-second 53-yard field goal by kicker Steven Gostkowski. He is the leading kicking scorer in the NFL right now. The win was the first time the Patriots beat the Giants since the 2007 regular season. The two teams have battled each other in 2 of the past 7 Super Bowls. Both games came down to the last minute, with the Giants taking home the win. The Lakers won a second game, but it didn't do much to reverse a pretty bad season. Kobe Bryant led the team against the Detroit Pistons. The Lakers won the game at the Staples Center 97-85. That game puts their record at 2 wins and 8 losses. That's it for sports. Back to you guys.
Thanks for watching. I'm Joanna Guzman.
And I'm Maria Cartaya. Have a great day.